longtime listener of your podcast. And I'm super excited. I signed up because I saw you were going to be one of the educators. So my question is about comparison.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
I know it's the thief of joy.
Yep.
But what do you do? How do you deal with just seeing what someone else is doing and then losing confidence because you're like, A, they're doing it better than me.
Yeah.
Okay, they're already doing it.
Yep.
And why? Who's going to listen to me? Sometimes it's just very crushing, and I don't know how to fix that for myself.
Yeah. So I don't think there is a fix. I think it is just a part of life, but there are tools around this topic. So for me, like, if you know me, I'm like this mix of like science-based. I love research, but I'm also a little woo-woo. And it's like, where do these two things come together to like bring us hope and joy? And so when it comes to comparison, I think that there's this beautiful way to flip the script on things. So for me now, as a businesswoman, if I see someone's doing something, I'm like, awesome, proof of concept. They already did the hard work. I know that there's somehow a market out there. That's good news. Okay. Now, if they're doing it better than me, I think we should switch the word and say they're doing it differently than I would. The thing that I think about all the time, because there are so many people who have podcasts. There are so many people doing what I do in a different capacity. They're doing it differently than me. And the cool thing that I've learned, and something that I hope that each person in this session finds in their life, is someone that's doing the same thing as them, and both of you are doing well. So for example, one of my best friends is Amy Porterfield. She's in business. We have courses on the same exact topics, and we're both doing well. And neither of us feels like the other one's stealing anything from us. We have each other, and we can support one another. And so when we can look at it in a way of like, they're doing it differently than I would, there's already proof of concept out there. And if I don't use my unique gifts, I'm doing a disservice to the people that would benefit from them. I feel like that's a kick in the butt of like, this person, like Jenna Kutcher, cannot serve everyone. Brendon Burchard cannot serve everyone. We're not meant to be for everyone. And I think that part of it comes from, we're jumping online and seeing people's chapter 10. Like I just hit a decade as an entrepreneur. What you see today has been 10 years in the making. And with the way that the internet is, we're seeing people that have the pretty presentation because they've already done the decade of the like dumpy work. And so I want for you to think about not how you present things, but how you show up. Because we're so focused on how do we present this in a way that will get people to buy in? How do we present this in a way where my sister won't roll her eyes that I'm trying something new? How do we present this in a way that looks like we know what we're doing, even when we feel like it's not? And it's not about how we're presenting it. It's about how we're doing it. Like there's a difference for anyone in here that's an entrepreneur. There's a difference between looking like a business, meaning you have a logo and a website, and being an actual business, meaning you're serving people and helping people. And I think we're so focused on looking like something that we forget about the actual serving that makes us make an impact. So I think, Molly, whenever you have those thoughts, they're going to enter. I'm not going to tell you they're ever going to go away. I have them all the time, but I try to flip the script and say, oh, she did this. That means it's possible for me too. Or, oh my gosh, she's doing this. Like, I love that. I'm going to do it differently. But I just think there's so much opportunity, and it's literally just word shifts and language shifts. And then also just really being conscious of who you let into your world. When I was researching confidence and learning that 60% of what our confidence level is based off of nurture, how are we nurturing ourselves? You being here today, that is nurturing you. You scrolling through and hate following people or following people that make you feel like crap, that is not nurturing you. And that is hindering your ability to believe in what's possible for you. So really, it's okay to curate, who you are consuming and who you're letting into your life. And I think that those things have made really big differences for me. But again, it's just flipping the script. And I always think about what I would tell my daughter if my daughter said, Mommy, that girl's prettier than me, or Mommy, she's doing something and I want to do it. I think, what would I tell Coco? I tell her, it's possible, you can do it too, you know? And so it's like, mother yourself sometimes, you know, that's like what I need to do often in my life. So I hope that helps, Molly.
Good. It made me emotional, but good.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, I'm here and I've been thinking about it a lot more, just entering another season of hopeful motherhood where I'm like, I'm in a season where I need to mother myself sometimes too. And what would I tell myself if Coco came to me with the same questions or concerns that I'm having? So I'm here for you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Let's go to Felicia.
First of all, thank you so much for coming and sharing your knowledge and passion with us. So when you were talking about the willingness to try and redefining what confidence is, it struck me hard.
How?
Because in the sense of, most of the time when you think about confidence, you talk about confidence, competence, and everything that you need to do. But how do you get competent? Is by you taking the action. And a lot of time, because we're so focused on other people, what they think of the things we want to do, that we're not even trying. And I know for sure that's what held me back. So recently I took the action of just saying, hell with it. I'm just going to take a step. And what that was for me is putting out a conference, right? So I'm going to do a women's conference. I've been trying to do it. I've never done it. And I just decided to reach out to experts, whether they say yes, great. If they say no, what the heck? And lo and behold, everyone is saying yes. And I'm like, whoa, all you needed to do years back.
Okay, well, hold on.
Mhm.
Don't you dare do that.
What?
Don't you dare do that.
Okay.
Don't you dare invalidate. I
Mhm.
should have. You know what that is? That is literally, you just took a success and turned it into a sledgehammer.
Amen. Yeah.
Do not do that. You know why you didn't do it then? You weren't ready.
Good point.
You weren't ready. And so when you know, part of what I want everybody to also, like, I'm so deep in this research around mindset patterns and the way that we talk to ourselves. And this goes into the RAS. We are critics. We are not cheerleaders. And I want all of you to relearn how to be a cheerleader in your own life. Because if you don't cheer for yourself, who the hell else is going to? And if you have children or people that you mentor or people that you want to inspire, if you're not doing it for you, how are they going to learn to? Mm-hmm. And so, yes, you coulda, you didn't. Beating yourself down over what you didn't do, only based on evidence, decreases your motivation to take action. And so a couple things that I want to give you, because I want you to do this, and that is an excellent question. Let's give her amazing. Is there anything else before I go on this rant for you that you wanted to ask?
No, go on the rant. I was just going to say, how do you get that level of confidence every single time to take the action when you
I'm going to tell you. First of all, it's a push. It's not a feeling. So you're going to use the 5-second rule 75 times a day. The moment because there's this gap, like this is where all of the research and the work, and look, the book has been out for 4 years, millions of copies, 33 languages. Most importantly, tremendous research. There's a 5-second window, everybody, that defines your entire life. There's a 5-second window that will determine what this conference is and isn't. It's this window between hesitation and action, between confidence and doubt, between courage and fear, between inspiration and hesitation. And if you think for longer than 5 seconds, what we know based on research is the subconscious part of your brain takes over and you're screwed. Because now all the old habits and questioning and hesitation just start spinning. And now you're trapped in your old patterns. But when you close the loop by counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, counting backwards is critical because it requires focus and it turns on your prefrontal cortex. you now have a moment where you've got the part of the brain activated that gives you focus and control. So you got a chance to try. If you don't move within those 5 seconds, you'll still be thinking about calling that person 5 days from now, because this part of the brain took over. And so you're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're going to push yourself. Here's something else I want everybody to start doing, especially because it's cheesy. You ready? I started doing this during the pandemic. And look, the pandemic kicked me in the face, just like everybody else. Okay. I mean, everybody's life turned upside down. For me personally, it had always been my dream to host a daytime talk show. And I got 5 minutes notice at CBS Broadcast Center right after we finished taping our 157th episode of the year that they found COVID in the building. The show was canceled. Grab your crap and get out. No time to say goodbye to 135 people. Dreams gone out the window. By the time I drove back to Boston, Houghton Mifflin had canceled the book contract. Within a week, every speech that had been booked for a year had been put on pause. And look, I'm okay. I've been saving money like it's my job for the last 5 years, because my origin story is 12 years ago. I was about to lose my house. I couldn't pay for groceries. I didn't have a job. So I started feeling like, what am I going to do? Holy cow, I can't go back there. But now I'm in a pandemic and now my kids are coming home and they're freaking out and I want to kill them all because I'm angry that they're not feeling more grateful that they're safe and they're bitching about spring break, and I'm going on and on and on. And I'm going down this negative spiral. And then people that I know start to die. And then it gets really scary. And so I started waking up every morning just like you probably did. And I'm like, my gray hair is down to here and my eyes are sagging down. And I didn't have any words. I couldn't give myself a pep talk. I would stare at myself in that mirror and I'm like, damn, you look tired. You look terrible. Whew, woman. I don't even know if you should leave the bathroom. I literally had no words. So one morning I'm looking at myself and I'm just feeling so down that all I could honestly do was raise my hand and give myself a high five in the mirror. That was it right there. That's right, Jill. Just, that's all I could do. And it felt good. The next morning I woke up. Same problems, same dark circles, same gray reverse skunk thing happening with my hair, same no speaking business, no money, no nothing, same crabby kids, same and I see myself in the mirror and I just high five myself again. And it felt so good. Okay, you got this. Because you know what? Try this tomorrow morning. It's impossible to high five yourself and go, boy, you look fat. Impossible. And so I started high-fiving myself in the mirror every morning, and I started putting it on social media, and it has spread like wildfire. And I started digging into the research. There's all this incredible stuff I can't wait to teach you in future stuff around something called neurobics. I know it's a stupid name, but we're talking to the world's leading researcher at UCLA. This relates to dyslexia. It relates to neuroplasticity and the way that neural pathways develop and connecting the right and the left side of the brain when you do physical movement with something. It is so amazing. And so we have created this whole series of things that I call the high five habits, that are simple little things that you do that remove the lint and that teach you how to cheer for yourself. So one thing I want all of you to be putting into your daily practice is, don't you dare ever leave a bathroom without high-fiving yourself in the mirror, particularly because it's cheesy. You will start to notice that you look forward to it. You will start to realize that you don't cheer for yourself. You will start to see, I realized, Felicia, that for decades, I used to stand in front of that mirror and be like, look at my neck. Oh my God, my chin. I'm like a freaking puppet. I mean, you could kill somebody with this thing. Get out of here, Jay Leno. Check out Mel Robbins' chin. You would literally, you don't even realize how negative that dialogue is. And so one high five at a time, we're going to start removing it. And 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, trying, remove it. when you see that you are now feeling this wave of insecurity and the lint is building in your mind because you're now so focused on what they're thinking, locate yourself back in here.
Michelle, I'm coming your way. Tucker.
Talk about being authentic here. I've been following you for like 3 years at least and never missed an episode, but
Wow.
I
Thank you.
have been one of these people that are like, I am a high performer. I can perform, I can achieve goals and have built many businesses. But I came from a very small town like you, Brendon, population 150.
Nice.
And haven't had the most healthy relationships, grew up in not the most healthy environment, got myself into a very toxic, unhealthy relationship. And I just kept doing, I kept achieving, kept doing. So I have been doing a lot of work on self-reflection. It's kind of interesting that we're talking about that today because self-reflection is something I never did because I just worked and I just did and I achieved, right? That's where I felt comfortable. But it's not working. The toxic relationship's not working. So my question today, as I'm doing self-reflection, and you mentioned about like reflecting and taking action, and I seem to just like do this, like reflecting and and it's overwhelming, and is it the right choice? Is it the right decision? Like, how do you get yourself out of that and into something more productive and constructive?
Yes, I love that. Give her a round of applause. Such a good question, Michelle. So good. So a couple things. One, that type of self-reflection needs a routine. It needs a routine. One of the simple questions we ask in the weekly review of High Performance Planner, as an example, is this question that says, what's one decision I could have made this week that would have made the week better? Meaning, do it every week. At the end of each week, go, what's some decisions I should have made or could have made? Every day, ask yourself, what's a decision I need to put in motion today? What's a decision I need to put in motion today? I'll give you all an example. I was waiting and waiting and waiting to create the new GrowthDay logo. I'm like, I'm gonna make the logo. I love doing art. Many of you know I've designed all the book covers of my books. I've designed all the websites you're on or see. I write all the emails you get. That's literally me. And so I geek out on that. I love that stuff. It was weeks and weeks. I was like, I couldn't get to it. And I said, one decision I need to make today. Today, I'm going to go post a dang project on Upwork. It's going to get up there. The decision is, I'm not doing the logo. Someone else is. Decision, post that job on Upwork. I got this logo back the next day. Do you see the GrowthDay logo? The next day. Now, I would have sat and thought of 50 other things, and I made the decision because I forced myself that morning to ask, what's the decision I need to put into motion? Because if you don't ask the question, your brain instead says, what's something I could keep thinking about? Here's another thing a friend of mine does, Michelle, that might help you. Every morning, she writes down everything she's wondering or worrying about in one column. And then in the next column, she assigns a block of time in that week to resolve that worry or that thing she's wondering about. Now, here's what she taught me that I loved. She assigns it for that week. Not next month, not 6 months. She assigns it for that week, meaning she moves that worry or that wonder forward that week. She might not complete the project, but whatever she's stuck on, she's going to move it forward. Okay. Now, there's one other angle I want to hit on this from Michelle that might help. And that is, there are some things that they're worries that they don't land on a to-do list. They don't land on a calendar. And those are worries about sometimes relationship or feelings, bad thoughts from the past, those types of things. all that we know from almost every therapeutic practice is the importance of capturing those things out of your brain. This is your journal practice. For those who are always constantly thinking, worrying about the same thing, it's time to capture it, write it down, like literally write the thing down, describe the thing, process the thing on a piece of paper, get it out of your head, put it, like externalize it, as they'll often call it, just like externalize that thing. And then ask, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to hold on this, let this go, release this? Is there a different story I want to tell myself? Is there a different thing? And then maybe you write the new story or write the conclusion of the worry. Like literally journal about, think about the worry. Can you conclude it? Can you write the story of the conclusion of your worry? That's a journal activity. Like, what am I always worried about? Great, write the conclusion. Write the conclusion. Just complete the story in your head. Because our head loves fragments of stories. What you're ruminating on is a fragment. The fragment is like what happened is you have a halfway done chapter. So you keep thinking about the halfway done chapter. Complete the chapter. Write out the rest of the story. And I'm talking to you all about journaling. Literally write it down, right? This is like a coach or a therapeutic practice. Like literally complete the story. Write it out. How do you want to see it end? How should it end? What could it end? Just write it out. And then if you've done all that and you're still stuck on a rumination from long years ago, or as Michelle was talking about, like a toxic relationship, please, please, please hear me always say, GrowthDay, we're here to be your coaches, your inspirations, but I'm a huge proponent of therapeutic work. Getting a therapist to help process stuff from the past, that if it's always there, and you've tried some of these other things, you've done personal growth, or like Michelle, you've been 3 years, you're in it, and it's the epiphany hasn't happened, or the new practices haven't shooken it out or shaped it. It's like, oh, raise your hand, get a therapist, super important. And I want to give you all my super secret on this idea. Everyone's so scared of therapy these days. The nice thing is you can use like tools. There's a lot of like online therapy help you can use, like BetterHelp and other ones. But here's what I always tell my friends. Book 3 therapists the same day. Many therapists will do a free session with you, or maybe they charge for the first session. Book 3 in the same day. Go to all 3. Whichever one you like the most, book them out. That's all you got to do. So now it's not scary. Like, is this just book 3. It's like shopping. You go around, it's like shopping for shoes. You're going to go, oh boy, I'm getting in trouble for that one on the internet. I know. I'm just like, you're gonna know which ones you like. You're gonna try it on. You're like, this is the one. And you're gonna choose that one. Okay? And that takes away the scariness of it, because you realize, oh, it's just a conversation. You're gonna have a conversation with 3 nice people in one day. They're all nice. They all like you. They're all gonna be cool. And at the end of the day, you're gonna go, I like this one the best. Book that one and schedule that one. Okay, I know that was a bigger answer than you might be looking for, Michelle, but I want to give you a chance for a follow-up question too.
No, I think that's good. I have done the therapeutic process, and I have been in coaching and all the above. And I think because I have been doing so much more, I think I've just been pausing. I paused, and I feel guilty because I want to be like, I have things I need to do, but I knew it was time to pause. And it's not easy for me to be in this pause of self-reflection and all of that. And I guess I feel like I'm getting closer to the result I need. And I guess it was just that space between like the self-reflection and the increased awareness, and that like being like the confidence to take the action without and knowing it's the right thing to do. It's the right decision. And I know it's a personal decision, but I feel like for a lot of people that have been in toxic relationships or is in a toxic relationship, that's the space when you know here, but there's this like ruminating, like, is it the right decision? Like, could it be different? Oh, is it this cycle that is going to be better or whatever, right? And so it's just that space, like when you brought up self-reflection, I'm like, okay, pause, that's where I'm at. And then that confident and you said, take the action, right? And I'm like, where am I in that space? Like of self-reflection, increased awareness, like, and like, here's the confidence and I'm just doing it.
I love
and I
it.
didn't know. I thought it'd be, and I like the journal, and I've been doing the journaling, and I've gotten some good input here that I will take into my self-reflection journaling process. So thank you.
I'm happy. Can I reflect? I'm going to reflect two things to you though as well, Michelle. So make everyone here, I want you all write down what's the decision I can make today and get in motion towards. Every day I want you to do that in your morning. What's the decision I can make today and get in motion towards? Let's start that process. But also just reflecting something you said, Michelle, two things you said that I just want to capture. One, you said you feel guilty, right? You feel guilty not doing the work or feel guilty not taking the action. I want you all to imagine a life in which you were moving forward without the guilt. That guilty part of yourself, it's time to let go of that piece because it's not speeding you up. It's probably not even necessarily slowing you down if you're a high achiever, Michelle. You're probably still going at it anyway. But guilt, it's so useless for you in almost every case. Can you look at it and say, oh, I expect a little more of myself? Sure. I expect a lot of myself each day, but I don't have to have guilt and I don't hit that mark. So explore that guilt piece because that guilt piece erodes that confidence piece, right? We got to know like, oh, I'm being hard on myself. No, there's a different thing of expecting a lot of yourself in a positive way and then torturing yourself because you're not perfect. So let's be aware of those things. Remember those guilt, every of those little moments of guilt you're allowing in, that eats at your long-term confidence. So let's try to strive without the guilt. Strive with the strong belief in being congruent. And when you're not, don't apply self-hate or guilt, just apply awareness. Oh, what was it about that made me like that? Oh, what could I do better next time? Oh, how could I treat myself in a better way to feel better, to keep moving? So wherever I want you all to experience this, write this down. Instead of guilt, awareness. Instead of guilt, grace. When we can still recognize where we can improve, but apply grace to it instead of guilt to it, big breakthroughs happen in our confidence. Grace over guilt, huge, huge shift. The other thing is you said, because you don't know it, it's not quite right, and there's a little bit of perfection, like wanting to know what I want to know the right decision or I won't make one, right? I don't want to make the decision because it might not be the right one. They might change, she might do this might be like that. This desire, I need to get the right decision or I won't make it. No. When you hear yourself do that, go, okay, let me just get in motion. In relationships, I like to tell people this. Sometimes in relationship, especially in toxic relationships, the step before the ultimate decision is the final proposal. You ever heard that before in negotiation? The step before the ultimate decision is the final proposal. What this means is you've proposed ideas for improvement. You've tried to have that conversation back and forth. And now it's final proposal. I like the word final proposal over the word ultimatum. This is my final proposal. This is the way I think it should go. You're welcome to come back with another proposal that's better, but this is what I think it's going to take. And if that final proposal isn't improved upon or accepted, great, now decision. And a lot of relationship conflict happens because someone jumped to a decision too quickly on either side. And so opening up the proposal conversation, what would you do? What can we do? How can we do this is really important. But ultimately, I also want to share, just because Michelle used the word toxic, if you're ever in a truly toxic or a truly abusive relationship, that decision was already made. That decision is made because they are being congruent with their then character. It's Maya Angelou taught us that, right? Believe them the first time, You ever heard that before? Believe that behavior the first time. When it is super toxic or abusive in any way, that's that person's character in that moment. They are being congruent with their character. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. That means that's where they're at in the moment. That's who they are today. Let life be their educator, not you their savior. Let life be their educator, not you their savior. That's where you go, got it. I'm not here to save this situation. I can't fix you in that problem. You can't fix the abuser, right? You can't fix the truly intolerant. You can't fix the truly hate-filled. Something has to shift. They need their own epiphany or a new environment or a different empowerment or education that sometimes we just have to go, you know what? That's not me right now. I don't need to fix or be responsible for everyone else's train wreck. I don't need to fix or allow for this person to do that just because I'm compassionate and I know how to help people. Sometimes you're not the person who has to help them that day, that week, or that season of their year. I once broke up with a girl. She's fantastic. She was great. She was in a really bad season of her life. It was not the time to be in a relationship for her. And it wasn't me judging her going, I'm better than you or what. No, it was like, oh, this is not the time for you to be in a relationship. And I removed myself. And that was the right decision for her. She needed time and space to work through her stuff in order to have any healthy relationships. Sometimes if you're there in their time and space during that difficult or toxic or negative or that angry part of their moment, sometimes that will make sense to remove yourself. And the decision was made on their end based on their behavior. And you need to listen to that truth for your safety or for your honor. And I hope that resonates for some of you. And I know everyone's in a different situation here. All right. Michelle, is that helpful in any way today?
That was really helpful. Thank you. I actually really appreciated those last comments. So I really appreciate that. And what an honor to get to be coached by Brendon.
Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate you. This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.